People saying a lot of stuff about Kovalev prior. Now, after this fight, do you think people will still...
What did they say?
Well, they always say he's like the boogeyman and all that stuff, but you obviously took the fight. You're fighting him. You moved up in weight. I'm pretty confident that this fight's going to be a very successful fight for you. Do you think that people are going to say that type of stuff about him afterwards?
I don't know. That's not, those are things I can't concern myself with. That's your guys' world. I don't, it's funny, you look at all the things that were said about him, and then you look at his last fight, and you see the things that were said about him, and then you see some people that's still saying those things, and some people are back on the bandwagon. That comes with the territory, man. Unfortunately, it's sometimes it's touch and go, sometimes it's hot and cold. So, really, I'm not concerned at all about what's being said. I got to focus on him and what he's bringing to the table and what I need to do.
Andre, what does a day of training set up? What does it look like for you? What do you go through?
It's a lot of pain every day. I have days where I'll do some type of cardio in the morning. Sprints, distance running, go back to training camp, get some rest, eat, and then we come to the gym, we spar, we hit the heavy bag. It's really a monotonous process, when you're in training camp, and that's pretty much every day. And of course we take days off, and there's times you got to rest the body and be smart. But it's really the same thing every day.
So even as you get closer to the fight, there'll be new changes?
No, as you get closer, you start to pull back a little bit so you don't overtrain. But that's normally the week of the fight. So up until, the Saturday before the fight, we're full steam ahead. We're going 100 miles an hour.
And the addition of Clarissa Shields?
I'm excited about that.
Talk about that. She calls you her idol.
First I'm honored for her to say that. And, I just admire, obviously, her story and what she's come from. But she's amazing in the ring. She's the real deal. And, I watch her, I pick up things from her. And, for her to have 2 gold medals is amazing. And now for her to get the opportunity to fight her pro debut on HBO, which I was fortunate enough to do, is a beautiful, beautiful thing. I think it's a perfect situation for herself as well as for women's boxing. Because I don't think women's boxing gets really any type of attention. Those that know certain women and certain fighters, they'll support and do the best they can to get their name out there. But, as a whole, I think we could do a better job because they do play a part. They come in here, we have women come in our gym, they work just as hard as we do. They take the same risk we take. They just don't get the notoriety or sponsorships or, the money that we get, and it's unfortunate.
Andre, when you're fighting a puncher, do you change anything in camp, or is it the same?
No, it's all. You obviously, depending on who you fight, you have different game plans, nuances, different things you're working on. But we respect, every fighter that we fight. We don't get. And I'm talking me and my team. We don't get caught up in the whole puncher thing. Anybody can get you out of there if you get hit right. So. I don't think I'd be sitting here in this position right now if I had these highs and lows. This guy's a puncher, oh my God, versus this. Man, we got to find a way to get it done, and we're going to find a way to get it done. I don't care what he's got in his gloves, who he's knocked out, or what he's done. My job is to get my hand raised, and that's what we focused on.
And how was it having Shakur Stevenson in your gym recently?
It was beautiful, man. It's having young guys like that around start to make me feel a little older. Because I used to be that guy in Roy's camp, in Floyd's camp, hanging around Bernard, and you see yourself. So it's a little weird because you're like, man, now I'm the OG. That's kind of crazy, but it's also a beautiful thing because, we need more of that. We need champions and top contenders and just fighters in general, man, to open up the door and allow these young guys on the way up just to show them how it's done.
How about the video room, Andre? Do you and Virgil sit there and look at it together? Do you go off by yourself and study stuff? How do you do that as far as, I know you got an idea about Kovalev, you've seen him, but are you going to be looking at video leading up to the fight or anything? Have you already seen enough? What's your plan for that?
We'll typically, we go through our process together, If I feel like I need to go look at something on my own, I'll do that. He watches a lot more film than I do. I mean, he's up 3, 4 in the morning watching film. As I've gotten older, I watch less film because I don't need to see 10 fights to see tendencies and to see certain things. There may be 2 fights that I need to watch, this type of style versus that type of style. And I know what I need to see, and then I may go back and watch around here, around there, but I try to leave room for my instincts, man, because I'm very instinctual, and you got to be able to think on the fly, fighting at the highest level. And I leave room for that. It's not a checklist that you got to go down because you can't get into a ring thinking like that. I just believe that who I am and what I have is enough, and that's what I'm standing on.
Or with T1, when you're talking with T1 Visuals, would you like to fight Adonis Stevenson next?
Man, I'm not even interested in Adonis Stevenson right now. Obviously, he's not my next opponent, and he got to ask Al if he can come out and play. I don't even know if he's available to fight. I'm just keeping it real with you. They got their own thing going on, but that's not even somebody I'm interested in talking about.
Are you thinking about promoting?
Nah. At least not right now.
How about pay-per-view? Your first pay-per-view fight, you looked up to Roy. He was kind of like the king of pay-per-view. I remember just to get excited. How does it feel to have your pay-per-view fight?
It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. I'm excited. What better time than now at this stage of my career? I'm just excited to continue to prepare so I can go and do my part to give the fans their money's worth. Those that pay to be there and those that are paying to watch it. So that's what I'm focused on. But I'm extremely happy to be a part of my first pay-per-view.
I'm sorry.
How many more fights you think you have left in you to retire?
That's a tough one, man. But it's just, I think I'll just know. I think I'm a know. But I tell you this, you can quote me on this. I know you've heard it before. Will not be fighting at 40 years old. Hopefully nowhere close to it. So just put that down. And if I am, which I hope I'm not, please replay this for me. Tell me that I lied to you.
Yo, Dre, Bernard announced his final fight. Can you kind of give us your thoughts on his career and him calling it quits?
Man, I wish him nothing but the best. I wish him nothing but the best,
Having a fellow light heavyweight and Andres Fanfara just joined the Virgil Hunter stable, what's that like, having that kind of camaraderie and another light heavyweight to work with?
It's good. It's good. Good fighter, top contender.
You guys spar?
Did a little something. It's good. Verge came from the school of where it's smart to have a good amount of fighters in the stable in the same weight class. That way you don't have to go look for sparring. I mean, that's how it used to be back in the day. You have a trainer that would train, light heavyweights, super middleweights, and middleweights, and they all get work. You don't have to go, outsourcing for work. So that's the school that he comes from. So, naturally you don't like guys around you that are even remotely, at least me, that are in my weight class. It's a thing with fighters. But he and I will never fight. So, I'm happy to have him on board, and I'm looking forward to him bouncing back and doing great things.
Do you feel comfortable at this weight? Do you feel stronger, faster?
I better. 3 weeks out. If not, I got some problems.
After the Brand fight, you had said that you felt the Kovalev fight was a 50-50 fight. Do you still feel that way?
Yeah, I have to feel that way. That's how I approach all my big fights. I don't go into the fight in my mind thinking, I got a clear-cut advantage here and I'm going to run through this guy. Personally, for me, I can't roll like that. I got to keep myself honest. We just talked about, the grind and the process every day. There's many days you get up and don't want to be in here, and that's what keeps me going at the level that I need to go at on a day-to-day basis, just understanding that this man is working, and everything that I feel, the passion that I feel, the hunger that I feel to get these belts and to beat him, that dude is feeling the same way, if not more. So that just keeps me on my grind and keeps my head down where I force myself to keep working. And if it's anything less than that, that's a bonus. But I truly believe that he's everything that they say he is. And, I'm everything that I've shown over the years. And I feel we'll even show more, in a fight like this, of this magnitude.
How do you assess Kovalev's skill set?
I think he's good. I mean, he's a champion. He's a champion. I'm not going to, crown him the best fighter in the world, but he's a good fighter. He's a champion, and you have to respect that. He's defended his title for many, many years, and none of those defenses were close. So, yeah.
Is there anything other than Kovalev power that concerns you?
Anything other than his power?
Yeah.
Not winning is a big concern. Not getting my hand raised is a big concern.
Hey,
You
we
know?
seen your HBO special and we heard your story. Anything that you would like to say about other kids that come along with the same story as you, that are trying to box or trying to play basketball or baseball or whatever the case is?
That's really the reason I talked about a lot of that stuff, to be honest with you. I never really talked about, some of the things I came from and some of the struggles my parents had. And I did that intentionally because, I didn't want my story to be, kind of burned up in a year or two. Oh, another guy from the ghetto. I've studied the sport long before I became a professional, and I knew how that kind of thing worked. And I always wanted to respect my mom and respect my dad because they were more than just addicts. They bounced back. They've done a lot of great things in life. But I know that would be the selling point, so I never wanted to talk about it. But then I started getting to a place where, I started to feel discontent, from the standpoint of like, man, kids and fans and supporters, they see me here and they can't always relate because they think you've always been here. And, it's just important, at this point in time in my career, just to stop and say, listen, this is what I came from. This didn't define me. This really refined me and got me to the place where I am. But let me tell you about my story, and hopefully, like you said, I hope it does encourage somebody because, those are tough situations, man, and it's a miracle that I'm sitting here talking to you guys right now, coming from what I came from. So I hope it does inspire somebody, and I hope it does encourage somebody.
Do you purposely tune out all the hype and garbage talk and all the stuff that goes on around you as much as you can?
I mean, it's old. I've been in this game a long time. And don't get me wrong, I can talk smack with the best of them. It's not that I don't have anything to say. It's just that I come from an old school mentality. You know what I'm saying? And it's more about action with me. I feel like I say what I need to say when I need to say it. And, because I don't do a lot of talking, I feel like when I do speak, maybe you guys want to listen. But if I'm on every website every week saying the same thing over and over, it starts to get a little mundane. You know what I mean? So I just try to speak when I need to speak and make sure that when I say something is meaningful and then go try to back it up. Because in the boxing right now, it's a lot of talk. It's a lot of people trying to be Floyd, and I get it. He's a big, inspiration to a lot of young guys coming up. But it's more talk. It's a lot of. We call it bumping gums where I come from, but not a lot of action. And then when a guy doesn't perform and do what he said he was going to do, nobody calls him out on it. And then he goes, he makes an excuse for it, and he starts talking again. So I just try to keep it simple. I'm about action.
What about, Andre, what about Kovalev seemingly being annoyed that you didn't acknowledge him at the press conference? What happened there? Tell me, was there anything going? Did he make
within himself? I mean,
okay.
I can't speak on how him getting emotional or feeling some type of way about anything. I don't have to do anything. We're not cool. He's preparing right now to try to hurt me, and I'm preparing to not let that happen. So, it's nothing to talk about. Why shake hands for what?
You think you might be in his head a little bit?
I don't know. I don't know. I really honestly don't think about it that much. I don't, And really, I don't know if that was him that made the comment or his coach that made the comment. But they used to guys paying homage and giving him too much respect before the fight, and we don't get down like that.
How do you feel about John David Jackson's trainer admitting that he may have underestimated you now that he started watching you?
I'm really not. I mean, to be honest with you, like I give John David the respect for his career. I think he was a champion, right?
Yeah.
IBF?
Yeah.
Okay. IBF champion. I respect that, and I pay homage to that. But in terms of I'm not paying attention to John David Jackson. I get wind of what he's saying. I get the overflow. I got my ear to what's going on. But come on, man. You got to do way better than that if you think that anything you're saying is going to get in our head or have us worried or preparing any differently. Like, he's really spinning his wheels. He's wasting his time. It's literally impossible for him to say anything to get into our heads. But see, what happens is you talk so much that you start to show your hand. And he's been over here, he's been back over here, back over there, and we just sit back and we just watch it. Okay. So this week is this, that week is that. But what he doesn't realize is he's being used and manipulated. Any writer, any website, any radio station that calls him, he starts talking. And him being a former fighter should know better than that. He should know better than that. So I just sit back and I watch and I observe. Now as far as him like trying to, come on, man. First Kovalev was gonna kill us. Ward made a mistake to sign it. Then he's better than I thought. Come on, man. You gotta do better than that. You have to. So that's my message to him if I have any message. You have to do better than that.
This level of boxing, what does it take to win a fight like of this magnitude? Do you think it takes more skill level, strategy, athleticism, blah, 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 blah? Like, what you think it really takes coming from Andre Ward and your experiences?
It's gonna take everything. You know, it takes a little bit of everything. It's so much, as you know, because you fight. There's so much that goes on in a boxing ring that people don't even know. I got you, my bad.
You cleaned up.
There's so much that goes on in the boxing ring that people don't know. It's not just one thing. It's a million things going on. There's ebbs and flows going on. It's gonna boil down to, you know, who wants it more. It's gonna boil down to who's executing the game plan under pressure. It's gonna boil down to who's in the best shape. It's gonna boil down to a lot of things. Agreed. Yeah, to a lot of things. I can't point out one thing or two things. It's gonna be a lot that boils down to getting this fight won, and I just feel like that I wanted more. That's just my opinion.